Hey, Robin Giese, KEA President. The intent of this video is to be informational. I apologize if it's a little longer than a traditional video update, which I hope to keep between 2 to 3 minutes. But there's a lot of information to get out to you guys, and it's easier if it's just in one video. So here we go. The timeline of what's happening with our formula and arbitration. Here's what's going on, or here's what happened. So our formula is in our contract. If you have more questions about a formula, I just made another video that explains the details of the formula and how it works. But just a quick recap, we had used our formula to agree to a multi-year salary increase that started in 2015, and that multi-year salary increase ended at 2019. So, well, 2018-19, that school year. And so once 2018-20 hit last year, it was KEA's job to use the formula yet again, and we hadn't used it for a couple of years. So that formula, there's a date in our contract that the district has to agree to the proportionate share that our formula spits out by October 31st. Now, last year wasn't a normal year. I mean, besides COVID, this was before all that. If you recall, our district had some budget issues in which they had a conditionally approved budget. KEA leadership was told about this, and we had asked the district, hey, is this going to impact negotiations at all? And they're like, no, it's just some technical stuff. So we didn't stress too much, but it was kind of a red flag, which is why we had organized that dinner and a board meeting event, mostly just because we wanted to get our membership together, but also to show up at a board meeting and to remind them, hey, look, we haven't negotiated the formula. We haven't used the formula in a couple years. Don't forget, this is the year. It's due October 31st, and we made a big stink out of it. We had fun. We ate spaghetti. We had good times. So that was that event. That was in early October. So once October 31st came around, the negotiations before it, our district was just not wanting to agree to anything. We hashed out some of the details, and we had numbers from the formula, and they just didn't want to agree to it because of the budget. We were frustrated because there's no reason why they couldn't have agreed to it. They just didn't want to. So we have no choice, but when the district does not follow the contract, we literally have no choice. We have to file a grievance. So when the district refused to agree to the formula, the proportionate share by October 31st, we filed a grievance on November 1st. And if you recall, if you were with us last year, we had an event in the parking lot. We had a rally in the district parking lot when we ordered pizza, ate some pizza, and we turned in our grievance. So that was November 1st. Now, the grievance process in our contract takes a little bit. There's a process. We submit the level 1 grievance, and they have to respond. They have 10 days, and then we have a meeting, and then 10 days respond. So it took some time. And with the holidays in there, it ended up that we had a meeting in January of 2020 with the district. And it was at that point where the district had let us know that the budget had now moved in a more negative direction, that it wasn't just now conditionally approved, but now it was not approved. And so because of that, our district was saying, hey, look, we can't agree to the formula. We want to. We know the money's there, they kept telling us, but we just don't want to agree to it. And KEA leadership agreed. We're like, yeah, you guys got a lot of budget stuff going on. We in no way, we want to work with you. So we agreed. Our resolution to that grievance was that once their budget was approved, that they would run the formula within 30 days. That was our resolution. So we gave them time. We're like, yeah, get your budget stuff figured out. We trust you. We have faith in you. You're telling us that there's money. You just need to figure it out. So we backed off. That resolution happened again in January. Okay, so then the next step, we continued our negotiations, but their budget issue was dragging out. We kept waiting for it to get settled, and it kept dragging out. And we got a little rush towards the end of the school year. So this was like, end of February. We were negotiating with the district, and we had decided, hey, look, maybe what if we just made a proposal, the old school way of negotiating, or we made a financial proposal, meaning that we would both agree to not use the formula this year. They had budget issues. We totally got that. We didn't want to stress out anything. So we made a proposal, and we started to negotiate with them, and we came to an agreement. Another reason why we had done that was just because the longer we waited to finish the proportionate share, the more opportunity it was for the district to spend their money, meaning that they literally didn't have any money for us. That's the whole point of why we negotiated at the beginning of the year before they spend it. So we were a little concerned. So we, again, went old school negotiating, and we came to a proposal, and we both agreed to it. Financial pay raise where KEA was getting some money, and we were okay with it. We were just going to put the formula on hold until the next year when their budget issues were settled. So at that point, though, this was what? February, end of February, we had the understanding, according to Ed Code, that because the budget was not approved, the district could not legally agree to anything financial unless it was approved by the county office. So they took the agreement that we had, our unofficial, our table agreement, and they were supposed to bring it to the county office. Or that's what we thought. Because time passed, March hit, COVID hit, schools shut down. We were negotiating virtually at this point because we had other stuff to negotiate. And we had asked about that. We're like, hey, did you hear back from the county office? And the answer was no, we never gave it to them. Whew, that was a little frustrating because we had waited more time thinking that they were getting it approved. And they never bothered to bring it to the county office. So because they wasted time, and now we were negotiating virtually when the schools were shut down and COVID was happening, the economy was frozen. California was in budget crisis. It was most likely going to bleed down to our school districts. We were trying to just wrap up negotiations, and at a certain point, the district had just made a proposal that they're like, dude, we know we told you about all this stuff, but I should say, actually, right around that time in April, their budget got approved. And so the budget was approved, but yet, because of all the financial uncertainty of what was happening with COVID, we took another path. The district had offered a proposal again, and it was a one-time money because they were very concerned about their budget, rightfully so at the time. And they were like, we don't have the money. We can't do this. And at that point, it was really frustrating for us because we kind of kicked ourselves in the booty. Because here's the deal. Because we were being so nice and we waited the entire school year, we allowed the district to spend that money. So they ended up spending all that money, and by the time it was pressured at the end of the school year, they're like, sorry, we spent all the money. And COVID hit, so now we really don't have any money. And so they'd given us a proposal of one-time money. One time meaning we can't put it towards the salary schedule. It was a small chunk we probably would have put in the insurance reserve, and part of that contingency part of us accepting that money would be that they would be held harmless from running our formula. So we looked at that, we looked at the circumstances with COVID, and we have no urge to bankrupt our district or anything like that. So we're like, yeah, we'll take this proposal. So we took it, and we were happy. We're like, okay, finally done. But then the district took back their proposal. They said, we know we offered you this, but we don't want to do it anymore. So they took back their proposal. Their stance was that they didn't have the money. Remember that. They didn't have the money. Okay, so summer hit. They literally took it back like the beginning of June. So it was summer already, and we were going back to that grievance resolution that we had set, because that grievance resolution was that they were going to run the formula, period. But here's a kicker. They were supposed to run the formula within 30 days of their budget being approved. Now, because the budget was approved sometime in April, and we were negotiating, and we believed that we were going to be able to resolve it, we passed that 30-day deadline. But given the circumstances, once they took back their proposal, we continued with the grievance process. We're like, hey, look, this grievance we filed, you totally did not fulfill the resolution that you agreed to. And so we were going down the arbitration path. And it was at that point where we told all of you, we had our press release in the newspaper. We're like, grievance, we're doing a grievance. We have no choice. They broke our contract. They took advantage of us. We've been arbitration. So we started the arbitration process. But because of that 30-day deadline with them not fulfilling the grievance resolution, and we didn't act quick enough because we had good faith in our district, we lost out on that opportunity of that original grievance. So we just had to drop it. But According to CTA, every time they pay us, they are breaking the contract again because they never added that proportionate share in it. Which means we have, every time they pay us, we can file a grievance. So we filed a grievance. And this is kind of why our grievance process has been, our arbitration process has been somewhat odd. Because we're like, we're going to arbitration. And then we're like, yeah, no, we have to grieve this again. So we grieved it again. We went through the level 1 grievance, level 2 grievance. We had our meeting with the district. There was no, nothing given to us. Lo and behold, though, after our last grievance meeting, just the timing of it, our district had released their unaudited actuals, which is pretty much them looking at what they actually spent last year and comparing it to their budget. And lo and behold, our district, which told us that they couldn't run the formula last year because they had no money, now had a $9.5 million surplus. They had the money. They just didn't want to run the formula. So after all of this, of KEA being helpful, supportive of our district, giving them time, trusting them, it turned around to bite us in the ass, pretty much. So here we go, grievance time. Again, we have no choice but to file that grievance and to continue up to arbitration. In fact, fun fact, if we don't file a grievance when the district breaks our contract, you could file complaints on your union leadership. So it's kind of one of those things where literally our responsibility of union leadership is to protect the contract. And at this point, our district has flat out refused to follow the formula. Their major argument is just that it was never renegotiated for the new funding structure that we have, LCFF, which is false because we've already used it with LCFF and we have it fully documented. So at this point, it really just seems like a control issue where our district just doesn't want to have the formula and they are just trying to delay, distract, confuse KEA along the way with their budget issues, using that as excuses, saying they didn't have money. Oh, look, now we have $9.5 million. So arbitration time it is. So here's how arbitration works. Arbitration, it's we have our lawyer from CTA. The district team has their lawyer. We all get into a room, whether virtual or real at this point. I'm not sure. Probably virtual though. And we hire an arbitrator, a third party, to attend our meeting. This arbitrator hears both sides from the lawyers. He or she reads our contract, and then the arbitrator makes a decision. And it's a crapshoot. The arbitrator can make whatever decision that they see fit, and we have to abide by it. So arbitration is risky no matter how strong your case may be. It's still totally just up to the arbitrator, which is why it is essential for KEA to organize right now, because we need to show our district and ourselves really that our district cannot break our contract. They took advantage of us. They took advantage of our trust. They took advantage of our need to help support our district and to work as a team with our district. They took advantage, and we need to show them that that's not okay. If we let them break our contract with this, what else are they going to break? I mean, our contract is sacred to us, and that's what our whole foundation of our union district relationship is built on, is that contract. So we need to organize. We are planning organizing events, so please keep your eye on emails and please respond and help us show that they broke the contract of 200 members. And that's not okay with us. That doesn't sit well with us. They delayed, distracted, lied about how much money they had. It's just time. So the whole point, again, is to organize before arbitration, because any pressure we can provide to have them follow our contract so that we don't have to wait until we get into a room with someone who can just decide our fate one way or another. It's a better strategy. So please, again, pay attention to your emails, and we are having a Zoom meeting this upcoming week, so pay attention for that time and date and link, because we want to include all of our members. We want to hear your questions. We want to answer them and be totally open and transparent. It's just been hard to keep you in the loop with all this craziness. So anyhow, that's my video. Oh my gosh, it's almost 15 minutes. I'm sorry. I did the best I can.